Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Fish Talk Live with Ron Demers. Now's the time to share this out. Share this out into your favorite group. Let's get this show started. We're looking for 100 viewers tonight because we want to give away some big, beautiful African cichlids. Share it out, everybody. Welcome, everybody. All right, everybody, share it out. Come on, let's see if we can get 100 people and give away some fish. It's like everybody's coming on. Welcome to December 18th. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Fish Talk Live this Tuesday, December 18th. This is episode number 8, and my name is Dave Gould. I'm the director and the creator of this show, and we are here now with Ron Demers. He's our host, and I'm going to introduce him here in just one second. Our mission is with this show is to create a social media streaming gamified experience for our Facebook group members on Ron Demers Cichlid Clubhouse. So if you like talking shop, if you like great fish, looking at amazing tanks, this is definitely the great place to be. And if you're looking to get expert advice from experts, this is definitely the show for you. So like I said, my name is Dave, and I'm the man in the control room, bringing you the graphics and the video and the show format. One of the coolest things about this show and being that person is I get to introduce you to our host, Mr. Ron Demers. What's going on, Ron?
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Episode 8. Excited.
Yeah.
The end of the year.
Yeah. Well, this is actually the last show of the year, and I know why you're excited because you're not the main topic. You get to kind of kick it and just make some comments. So
through that.
Yeah. So who do we got on? Larry Deskins, we see Lori Vinker, Joe Vinker, Ammo Fred, as always. What's up, buddy? With 420 cichlids, the Mr. Blazing and Gazing. Who else you got there, Ron?
Got Ryan Atkinson, Fernando Gonzalez, Joanne, Charlie, Boy Jeff, Bill.
Nice. So, everybody blowing up the chat. Let's get some reactions going. Like I said, we're leveraging some software that is awesome for live shows. And so here's the thing. What we want you to do is share the show out. There's a button there that says share. Share it into your favorite group. If you're a group or an admin, you want to shout out, reach out to us on a message, and we will shout your group out. We'll promote your group and do all that. If we get 100 people on this show, normally we do the spin to win, right, Ron?
Yes, sir.
100, we go straight to giving away a fish and just randomly generating that. We've done a couple exciting things on the giveaway tonight. We've got an extra slot for a fish. Ron was feeling generous. He says, why don't we put an extra gram prize on the wheel? So we got that going. In the chat, the reactions that you give and the comments that you give, that adds up in the giveaway software. And well, we're not going to tell you exactly how it works, but just know that the more interactive and the more engaging you are with this show, the better chances you have. And that includes all of Ron's platforms. Remember, we talked about that a little bit, Ron, how we can just pull any old post out and say, hey.
Amazing software.
Yeah. So tell us where you're from. Let's see it in the chat. Let everyone know where you're calling in from and doing all that. Tonight, we are going to be discussing photography and video, and inside the how to shoot better pictures of your tank and of your fish. And I get the pleasure of being that person to share my experiences. As many of you know, I do a lot of graphics and web design, but I started in photography. When I was in high school, I won a California State Championship for photography senior year. I worked in many commercial photographers' studios. I worked in a lot of development labs back then when we used to use film. All the young people are like, film? What's film? But anyway, so I've been around. I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm looking forward to doing that for you. So we have some mentions and some business to discuss here. As you all know, and I'll show this to you now, there is a way to turn on a notification so that every time our show comes on, it automatically will pop up for you. So you see the little bell there? I click that bell and turn all notifications on. You're also going to want to put it in full screen. We put a lot of effort into the graphics and video, and this show's best at full screen. So let's see. I'll run through the green. You got the red, okay, Ron? So yep. Let's see. We have a new Facebook page called FishTalk Live. If you can go there after the show and give the page a like, that would be great. At some point in 2019, we will require that. So you'd have to be a page liker in order to win things. And so we've got that. It's a great page. But we still are streaming to Ron's page. Again, sharing and liking, especially sharing this out. We've got 65 people on right now. We're trying to get 100 people on tonight. All episodes are now on the website. So if you go to ronsicklids.com/Tuesday Fish Talk Live, I believe it is, you will see all the episodes. So we're at all the episodes. They all have their own landing page and little recaps on there. So I wrote this one, so you probably have to read it first. You want me to give that? I'll give this one. So here's the thing. Next Tuesday is Christmas, and we're not going to have a show on Christmas.
No show?
No show.
People don't have anything else to do on Christmas at 8 o'clock?
Yeah, exactly. Well, funny you say that. Here's an interesting thing for everyone. 10 miles north of where I'm at is Bay Minette, Alabama, and one of the 4 finalists on The Voice right now is from Bay Minette. So we've got all these house parties in my neighborhood for that. But anyhow, go ahead with the other red ones on there.
So as Dave said, there's no show next week. Show will fall day after New Year's, because New Year's falls on a Tuesday as well, and y'all will be out celebrating, drinking, having a good old time, and not remembering to tune into the show. So we'll be doing the show on Wednesday, the day after New Year's. So yeah. It will be a DIY show, do-it-yourself type show, and we're going to have a special superstar guest, which we're going to announce later in the show.
Yeah, we've got a guest lined up for you that is like a powerhouse.
You all know who he is. If you don't, then you've been living under a rock.
Yeah.
If you have any questions or comments, just please remember to send them through my Ron Sicklids page, regular business page, and I can answer questions whenever I see them. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. We're also on Twitch, Facebook, and Periscope, and you can just search for Ron Demers. There should be a new YouTube tab on Ron Sicklids' page. Also, there's a Fish Talk Live landing page on rodsicklids.com site. So at any point in time, if you guys want to go back and look at episode 2, episode 4, episode 1, it's there, all nice and neat. You can replay them. You can go through them whenever you want.
I'm reading the chat, so yeah, I think Paul's hitting on it. Our socials. So Ron Demers Facebook groups, or RDFG, is, when we first talked about this, Ron, we talked about how to create a community that has multiple arms in different places. So yep. I said, why does it have to be one group? Why can't we get specific? And so many of you are members of Ron Demers' Cichlid Clubhouse, which is the main group for Ron. But there's also the Mbuna Hangout, where we discuss Mbuna, Lake Tanganyika Clubhouse. Ron has his own DIY page called Aqua DIY. One of my favorite groups is Amazing Tank Showcase, and
Yes.
someone messaged me earlier that said it's like tank porn.
Fish porn.
Yeah, fish porn. No, tank porn is what they said. And then we, at some point, I think in 2019, we'll be starting up a new group called the Aquarius Marketplace. That will allow our users to be able to share some of the equipment that they have for sale and are willing to ship around the country. And of course, we have a New World Cichlid hangout. Ron's also on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. That's pretty much it as far as that goes. Why don't you tell them about the giveaway rules?
So for the giveaway rules and policies, you must be present on the live show, the live chat, and claim the prize within 1 minute, or we'll go to a redraw. Trying to make sure that to everybody. There is no cash value implied, of course. Some prizes require require the winner to pay shipping. It's
We haven't.
Some do, some don't.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet, and we certainly will tell you beforehand. These are our general rules for and policies as far as that, but it just hasn't come up yet. But there you go. And
each person may only win one time per month, and then winners are ineligible for giveaways for the rest of the month, and they will be re-eligible the following month. That's just to make it fair for everybody. We got lots and lots of people on here, and even though it is random, somebody winning more than once in a month may rub people the wrong way. So,
yeah.
Got some group shout outs. Southeast Fish Addicts, TJ Huffstetter.
Yeah, that's a cool group. I drop in there every so often. So TJ is a mod for the Ron Demers Facebook groups, and he's got his own group over there, the Southeast Fish Addicts. So big Yahoo, and a big shout out to you, TJ, on that.
Thanks, TJ.
Yeah.
And big shout out to 420 Cichlids. They just reached 10,000 members a few weeks ago and just did a big giveaway we were part of. Mike Tuttle, Charlie Wood, Chris Hebert, and then PK Campling. PK is over in Australia. This is an 18 and over group, everybody. Know that going into it. They are a very nice, laid back, drama-free, 420 friendly type group. I mean, these guys, I've talked to them.
So,
of them.
So their motto is Blazing Gaze. So that's what they're all about. It's just a cool group. That it's not all fish and it's not all 420, but like we said, it is for 18 and over. So.
Yes.
Go ahead.
West Coast Cichlid Exchange, Isaac Garcia. Isaac's another one of our moderators. Pretty cool page. And then Crown Royalty Cichlids, Nate Pate. He's another moderator of ours. He does his own thing. African Cichlids has his own little side business type thing going. He's ramping up and getting bigger.
Yeah.
And has his own page. Another real nice group, laid back, getting a lot more traffic over the last few months. So I'm happy to help see him grow.
Yeah. So if you have a group, so here's what is interesting, and I've made it my mission. So as a branding and marketing specialist, I made it my mission, like, here's this fish community on Facebook, and they're very protective, very competitive, and they'll talk and behind each other's back and this and all this weird stuff, right? Which I wasn't really used to. But there's like less cooperation. And one of the things that Ron talked about was how he wished that there was more cooperation. And I said, well, let's lead by example. So if you have a group and you want to be promoted on this show's getting anywhere between 2,500 and 6,000 viewers every week. It's an amazing platform for that. So just reach out and obviously, we'd like to build partnerships with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's look at what we're going to talk about tonight. Let me see. Hello. My eyes really hurt tonight. So here we go. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about photography and video. We're going to talk a little bit about editing. We're going to talk a little bit about different kinds of cameras, little cool cameras like this, which these are called GoPros. We're going to talk about how to shoot video, some lighting, backgrounds, things like that. I'm going to go ahead and take the reins on that and try to help y'all out. Now, here's the thing, is that photography, yeah, there's a science in it, and so we're never going to be able to cover everything. But I'm going to try to give you a little bit of basics about photography, how it works, the triangle of exposure and things like that. So we were supposed to have a guest on as well. Didn't hear from him, so I'm still expecting him to show up, but something must have come up. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. So basically, depending on what you use, if you're using a large SLR camera, or if you're using a phone, or if you're using specialized cameras like the GoPro and underwater housings and things like that, it all centers around exposure, and it's all about capturing light. And that's one of the cool things about tank photography, is that it's like a mini little studio anyway. You've already got a background, you got it lighting above and all that. So it's just a matter of controlling that. And I thought where we could start is by understanding the different aspects of what creates a good image. So bear with me on this. Like I said, I'm having an issue with my eyes, so I do want to go to this graphic, but I want to find the right one. So here's the thing. There's basically three aspects, and you have to understand this. It doesn't matter if you're using a drone or any of these cameras, they all break down to this. And it breaks down to what they call ISO. Okay, and that's the sensitivity of the sensor. So every camera's got a sensor. They used to have film, but it's where the exposure takes place. And ISO is like amplitude. So it's if you turn the amplitude up, the sensor is more sensitive to light. The other aspect in this triangle is the shutter speed. So how fast the aperture, which is the little part that kind of is your shutter, how fast it opens and closes, how much light is going to be let in at that time and closed. And that also has to do with the ability to pick up speed. So in the fish hobby, you generally want a really fast shutter so that everything is sharp and crisp. The third aspect in the triangle then is the aperture, and that's the opening of the shutter and how much light is being let through. So it's kind of like the spigot, when you turn on your water. The faster the water, the more light, and that means the opening is a lot wider, and when it's down closed, it's a little less light. So it's those three aspects, and I do realize this is like something that we're in a photography class. This could take us months to go through that. But basically, those are the three aspects. Now with fish, let me bring this back so I can talk to you. With fish are very fast animals. So many of you know when you've tried to shoot your fish, they're blurred or you can't catch them or whatnot. So a higher shutter speed. So higher the shutter speed goes up, the less light that is there. So you need a higher ISO, basically. So I'll bring this graphic back and looking at it here. So we're going to run. I don't know if you can see this. I personally can't see it because my eyes are that bad right now. I'm looking at it and all I can see is shapes. Let me see if I can make that thing bigger. Let's do this. Okay, bear with me, y'all. Bear with me, y'all. All right, so we're looking at the shutter speed here, right? And you see how when it's down lower and it's slower, like 1/8, everything is blurred because it opens so slow and things are moving so fast. So what we need actually is up here closer to around 1,000 or 2,500. So you see down here on this one, you can see how the images are a lot clearer, not as much motion blur. So in order to do that, the camera needs to have a higher amount of light into it. So we're probably looking at putting the ISOs up around 4,800. So if you're taking notes, put down any 125 and higher and an ISO of 400 to 3,200, depending on how powerful your tank light is. And we're not going to deal with the aperture right now. So that's kind of that's the basics of it. And I really wanted to do that kind of basic thing so that you guys understood what was going on in photography and how the light is captured. And that goes for fish photography. It goes for any photography with my drones and all that. So now let's talk about different ways we can capture. So most of us use our phone, which is great. And if you have a Samsung, say Galaxy 5 and higher, or an iPhone 6 and higher, you actually have an amazing studio camera. You really do. Except here's the thing. When it's in idiot mode or automatic or safe mode or whatever, where it just takes a generalized picture, you don't get the best results. And the best way is to go in and be custom. You need to have set certain things customly. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Android and the iPhone. Our guest was going to fill us in a little bit on the iPhone. As I don't have an iPhone and I don't use it, and it's been a few years since I did. I use an Android. Now, in Android, let me pull up my graphics again. Let's look at some settings. Let's see, that's not what I want. I'll make this a little smaller. Bear with me. Okay, so here it comes. And here we go. So in Android, when you go into the phone, all of us, this is what we see. You have these, and the way you get it is open your camera and swipe it to the right. When you swipe it to the right, you'll see exactly what we're looking at here. And these are the different modes in which you can shoot on your camera. And the mode that you want to use is Pro. And that allows you to get access to shutter speeds, access to ISO, access to the apertures and all of that. So let's see what other graphic we've got here. Now, before we jump into those specific settings, right, let's talk about what should we shoot our camera on. And this is, again, it can be for your drone, your iPhone, your iPad, Android, DSLR, GoPro, it doesn't matter. It's the overall setting. So the first setting you have is your picture size. And this is, again, the Android. We're looking at Android. So if you were to click number 1 or hit number 1, it's going to give you all these different options. Choose the highest megapixel. Okay, so you see there on this, showing on this screen, it says 4:3, which is the aspect ratio. It's a little bit more square than it is long. And then the amount of megapixels. So pick the highest megapixel. If you got an 8 megapixel camera, pick 8 megapixels. If you got a 20 megapixel, pick 20. Always do that. It takes a little bit more storage, but in the long run, especially if you're trying to create really cool tank pictures and really cool fish pictures, the higher the resolution, the better. And the reason being is sometimes you might shoot that fish, but it's like really small in the frame. But if you use the higher settings, you could always zoom in and get that picture exactly the way you want it. Yep. The second one here is your video size. Now, you're going to want to shoot in full HD, which is 1920 by 1080. That's the highest that goes on YouTube. It's a little higher than the Facebook standard. And the reason you want to shoot this is, again, because you can always downgrade, but you can never upgrade. So very rarely do you say, oh my God, that picture's too sharp. I need something a little bit more blurry. You know, it's always the other way around. It's always like, oh, it's a little too blurry. I need to make it sharper. And if the higher the resolution or the more data that you have, the more data is the video size, the better. So in general, when you're shooting video of your tank, you're going to be shooting on 1920 by 1080. Let me just come back to the camera so I can talk to you all face to face. So one of my biggest pet peeves, I'm a video editor, and this is like a huge pet peeve of mine.
Here it comes.
It's huge because I can't. I've just about like lost it. I no longer have the capability. This is a phone, right? Let's just pretend, right? When you shoot like this, up and down, or they call it vertical, it's very difficult to edit video on, and it just doesn't look as great. Always shoot like this. This is called sideways. Yes. Well, Ron calls it sideways. That's the simplest term. The other term is landscape. So shoot it in landscape because you can always crop it in and get a vertical picture, but you can never take a vertical picture necessarily and make a horizontal picture out of it. You lose so much data that way. So always shoot this way. Always, almost every time, unless you're FaceTiming your grandma and your kids, shoot it this way. Anything that's worth something is shot this way. Anyway, so landscape.
I don't understand. Can you explain that again, please?
Well, here, let me see if I can, like, no, it won't allow me. I was going to, oh, I never switched over to the camera. Oh, I'm so sorry. So let's do that one more time. This is vertical. Okay, I was sitting there holding this up before. This is vertical. This is landscape. Shoot it like this. It's almost impossible to make this into this and look good. It's always possible to take this if you need something like this. So anyway, that's my big like public service announcement of the year. Shoot it in that way and do that. So yeah, so that's where we're at, and I want to show you a few cameras that we've got and a couple of ways that you can create better pictures. We're going to get into exposing and actually creating the picture, but right now let's talk about stabilizing the camera. So there's a couple of different ways. When you have things that are moving really fast and that can blur, the more stable you are, the less you're moving, the better. So if you have a tripod or if you have a selfie stick or anything like that. But I've got some gizmos here that are pretty cool, so let me grab them. So the first one I have is this one's called an Osmo, and I don't have enough light on them really here. So let me see. I'm trying to get. But you see that there? This is a 4K camera, and if you can like it, this is a great thing to ask for Christmas. But as you see, it stabilizes itself. Can you see that, Ron, or is it?
It's so dark in your backdrop, you can't see it.
Let me just do a little on the fly here. Yeah, so this is an Osmo camera, okay? And that's what they call a gimbal or a stabilizer. It's a handheld stabilizer. So that's one thing. Now, this same company, which is DJI, same company that makes drones and makes these kind of cameras, also makes one for mobile. So this one might be a little easier to see. Let me turn it on. So there's my camera, right? So let's turn it on. Boom. And it stabilizes the camera. You see how smooth that motion is? So these things are cheap. You can find them for less than $100 used if you search in Facebook Marketplace. So if you have something to stabilize, you're always going to get much better, much smoother images. The other thing to do is a trick. Is if you take the, and I'll use my iPad on this. Here's the tank, right? So this is the tank. If you hold the camera with your finger on the tank and then move the camera around like this, oh, I can't get it in the camera. Okay, there we go. You see that? So here's the camera, right? And you hold it on the tank and you move it like that, you'll get way better, more stable images. And that's what we're after, is getting really good, sharp, clear images. Some of the other cameras I got, like I said, this is a GoPro, and these are really, really cool, and I'll show you why. Because they come with these. This is an underwater housing, and I put a suction cup on the back, and I'll show you what one of those videos look like real quick. I can see here. So this is shot with that camera. Here we go.
Dunk it, dunk it, dunk it.
So this is a fully immersed image and video. You're swimming with the fishes. That poor fish doesn't look good. But anyhow, so this is using an underwater camera, and there's a ton of really cool things you can do. Slow motions and all that. So I just wanted to do a quick little show you what that's all about. So here we're coming back. So now here we go. So it's all about lighting now and getting your phone to capture the best lighting. And the best way to do that is to put it in Pro mode. And let's go ahead and take a look at the Android and look at that Pro mode here. Let's see if I can get one of these pictures to change. So once you're in Pro mode, I obviously changed the picture format. Hold on. There we go. So once you're in Pro mode, you see these settings on the right side, and you'll see ISO at the bottom. That's the first thing you adjust. That's your sensitivity of what you're trying to shoot. So again, I would try it around 400. And if you don't get enough shutter speed to snap clear, sharp pictures of your fish, then you'll just need to increase that. The next one up is your shutter speed. So on that shutter speed, that's where you're going to want to pick something above 800 or so, like 1,000, 2,500. You definitely will stop all motion in your tank. So if you can, you just shoot it for 2,500, and you set the ISO at that point to get it so it looks the way you want it. Now, this is where I was probably going to 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 our other guests who didn't make it, and I feel bad. Maybe we'll have him on at another time. But I do have his pictures, and I was going to use his pictures as examples. So JJ Castillo is going to be on, and something came up. But here's his picture. So he's shooting with an iPhone, and the thing about it is try to get your background as dark as possible, okay? And your lighting up above, it dims down, so you get a lot of detail in there. And that's how these pictures are shot, basically. So you got to get your fast shutter speed so it stops them and it makes them nice and sharp. And then let me pull the music back just a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's shooting with a old S7 from what we've talked about.
Yeah, I talked to him a lot last night too. He was saying that some of these are iPhone and some of them are.
He helped me with my settings a while back.
Yeah. So that's, basically you're looking, once you're in there, so it doesn't matter if you have a blue background or a rock background, you first expose to get that dark so that your fish pop up against that. And then if you need to increase the light, you can add other lights. Like there was the light here on the right side. For $35, if you go on Amazon and look for LED light, so I'm not talking tank light, I'm talking about just an LED light. And you get a stand for like $10. You can put that up over the tank or on the side of the tank and get really, really dramatic lighting. Good pictures are all about capturing light and really good light. So here's some of his video. Now again, this is probably not how you would have your tank set up, as a show. You can see how dark the room is, but he brought all of his settings down so it is really dark, so that the fish are what capturing the light. So that's pretty much kind of how we have it. Like I said, I didn't want to go too deep. I didn't want to have this drag on to an hour long. I figured we'd turn it over to some questions if people had particular questions. Can
you
just go ahead?
Can you explain? I've heard JJ say it, and other people I've heard say it about taking a video and then going back and pulling your shots out of the video. How do you do that?
Okay, so what you want to do there is you want to use the highest rate that you, or not rate, but resolution that you can. So let's go here again. I have another graphic here. It's not pulling up. All right, so you see here, I believe this is the Android, yeah. So these are the different resolutions for video, and starting at the top is 720. That's the first level of HD, and then 1920 by 1080, that's full HD, and then you have your frames per second. So there's 30 frames and 60 frames. So most video and most films and everything that we watch is between 24 and 30. But when you get up in the higher frame rates, you capture more. You capture twice as much, actually. So if you have a 200 megabyte file, it's going to be 400 megabytes. But it allows you to go back. So you're going to want to put it on 4K, 60 frames per second. If your camera does 4 frames, 60K per second, 60 frames per second, and I think this here is the iPhone, yes. So here, photos and camera, flop over to video, and then pick that one. So 4K 30 frames is the best on the iPhone. Shoot it out there, and then you can go back and you can pull pictures out of each video frame, and you can just use the slider, find the exact frame that you want, the great expression or the right tilt on the back, or whatever you're looking for, and then you can capture that and save that as a individual image, and that works out really, really, really well. My hint or my professional advice here is that don't let it run for 15 or 20 or 30 minutes. Shoot them in small little 1-minute segments, right? Then you're not digging through, you know, so much video footage all the time, right? And you have these huge files, and when you run out of space, you're like, which one do I delete? Oh, I can't delete the 5 gig one. It's got my best fish stuff. So if you do it little bits, and then look at it, pull your best pictures, and then erase that 4K, because it will consume a lot of data. So you see here, 1 minute of video at 720 HD there at 30 frames is 60 megabytes, okay? But the same video, 1 minute at 4K, is 350 megabytes. So it's almost, what, 9 times more data, which will fill up your memory card faster. But it is a great way. It's a great way to go in and capture that stuff. Let's see what.
How do you actually capture it? Are you doing a screenshot? Or are you able to download or save that exact frame?
Okay, so this is where it would have been good to have the. Looking for us to come back here. That's not what I want. Okay, so it would be good if I knew the iOS new versions. I haven't had an iPhone since iPhone 3, so I don't know. But on Android, there's a little picture on the left side. So when you were here and you are on this this frame right here, this is a little older, but the newest version, on the left side, there's a little picture, like the little picture icon, and you click that and it saves a picture into your thing. So it's pretty easy, pretty cool. Now
I switched over to using a DSLR because I just couldn't take the pictures that I wanted to.
Yeah.
With a Rebel T6i, and JJ and some other people helped teach me how to use it, and it was about lenses. I mean, the lenses made a huge difference, and natural light, and it took amazing pictures.
Yeah. So the thing with it, just like with everything in our tank, we're always moving the decorations, we're experimenting. If you're serious about taking really good pictures of your fish, and it's not that difficult, these are some good starting places, and just start doing experiments. You know, what happens if I go faster shutter speed? What happens if I go lower? We didn't talk about aperture, but what aperture does is allow things to be on this level. Let me put my hand in focus where the stuff behind it is not in focus. And that makes very, very dramatic pictures. On Android, in Pro mode, you can go to selective focus. So it says autofocus, and then it'll say manual focus, and you can select it by going up and down, and that brings things in and out of focus in depth. So it's really, really, really cool to do that as well. The other, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I saw a big difference between switching from the S8 Plus Samsung to the S9, because the S9 Plus has dual cameras.
Yeah.
I take better pictures now without even going into Pro mode, just because of the camera upgrade.
Yeah. So we are gonna go to take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back for questions and answers, live Q&A. But I will answer this one because it was part of my presentation that I missed. So Paul's asking about glass glare. Glass, and the thicker it is, the more distortion you're gonna get. So with tanks, shooting at an angle is not good. Shooting straight through the glass is best. So if your fish is moving to this side of the tank, stay straight and just move this way rather than going like this, turning your camera and following it. Because as
long as you have no flash.
Yeah. And that's another big part of it too, Ron. You don't ever want to use a flash generally. You can, and there's ways to do it if you're doing the flash at the angle or whatnot, and it takes a lot of experimentation. But for the most part, we have such cool lights that you don't need the flash. And the phones these days are so sensitive that you can easily expose and do that.
We have to make an assumption that 90% of people, maybe 95, aren't going to buy exterior lights or have external lighting when they want to take pictures of their tanks. So if they don't have the natural light, or they don't have the lights on bright enough in their tank, what are some other options? You know, just going through the settings like you were mentioning?
Yeah. So for the most part, having a really good tank light. You know, most of the really cool pictures that you see, the people have a really good tank light. So having that tank light, but like I said, the tank light is usually enough. Okay. if you're taking it to the next level where you're like, hey, I'm serious about this, I want to take the best pictures I can, then buying this third light, spend $40 and get and side light it. It creates really dramatic effects. I keep seeing Juan and Dino, I think is his name, Mbuna guy. He shoots some really good pictures as well, and I suspect he's using a alternative lighting source.
He's on right now. He was on.
Was he?
Yeah,
oh,
Juan.
Okay, cool.
I think his name is Juan and
Dino.
And John Cintron.
I'm not sure. If that's you, just give us a shout out.
I think Juan's on there.
So the third part of all of this is, okay, so you understand that it's a matter of shutter speed and image sensitivity so that you can get all that right. The third part about it is processing. So if you have a process, use the editor on your phone, and this is the best thing to do, is you turn down some of the shadow and you increase sharpness just a little bit. And let's look at JJ's again. JJ's images, like this image, right? This last one, I can't go back, but you see these scales because their sharpening has been added to it. This is what the effect that sharpening will do. So that gives you some, other ways to do that. There are a lot of free, like Photoshop style editors out there. Pixlr, remember this, Pixlr, Pixlr, Pixlr.com, free Photoshop, just like Photoshop, editing capability. It's great, okay? So with video, if you can edit your videos as well, so shoot short pieces of video, as short as you want it. You don't have it rolling and just waiting, okay, the fish might be doing something. You can try that. In general, I find that you have really huge file sizes. You got 3 minutes of video and it's like 17 seconds right in the middle is what I really wanted. So having, quick, and with Android, it has the function of doing pre-record. I can show you that as well.
I was giggling. I just thought about taking all those pictures with a Polaroid.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't work. Not fast enough. Pre-record. This is on so this is Android again. We're looking at that motion photos and video stabilization is also two very cool things to do, but that's not it. So I'm sorry about this if I'm going too fast. It's one of these settings. So if you go into camera settings on Android, you will see pre-record. And what that does is it's always recording 2-second buffer. So that will allow you, if the fish starts to yawn and you don't get your finger on the record button fast enough, 9 times out of 10, it will keep the fish yawn. So going back to processing, I wanted to share a really cool software. Now this software costs a little bit of money. I think it's around $30 a year. It's $4 or $5 a month. But it's called Magisto. So I can bring this up. I gotta find my little full. So here's Magisto. It's magisto.com, and what it does is it allows you to upload clips and pictures. Then you just pick a style. So here it says then you would just pick a style, right? And then you pick music, and it automatically creates all the edits for you. It's amazing, and I'll show you an example of. I took 15 minutes to shoot these pictures, or I took some of them from the past too, but to upload them. And then I picked a style and I picked music, and this is kind of what it looks like. It allows you to put titles over the top. Does these kind of swiping things. And just different edit. So all these can be different, each style has its own way. But you see how it's zooming in the pictures as well, so it moves them and it does this, it kind of pans them left and right. Anyway, that's Magisto. That's my big, huge advice, and kind of like something I always keep close to myself. This is like, what would you call that, Ron?
Trade secret?
Yeah, trade secret, or if you really want to step your game up, grab Magisto, upload your stuff to Magisto, and it's crazy. So anyway, we're going to take a call in if you guys want to call in, and we're going to have questions and answers here. So let me give you that graphic. If the chat moderators have that to put up there, that would be great. I was looking at Greg. He says, how do you get him to yawn? You tickle him under.
You just made me yawn by saying that.
Tickle him. If you want to call in with your question after the break, this is how you do it. There's 2 phone numbers at the top left. Write those down right now. Okay? Or we may have this in the chat. I'm not sure if somebody was ready for that. You put the meeting ID in and put the password in, and you'll be on live with us. So if you have any questions, you want to get on live, you want to say hello, you want to talk to Ron, give us a call. All right, we'll be right back.
From Miami, Florida. I've been buying cichlids for Ron for a little bit now. I'm also buying his food. He's one of the top guys out there. He's always willing to answer any questions you might need. He's also, you gotta go to his new show now. He's got a great show on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. which you can learn a lot from that. I've been watching every single Tuesday. So hit him up for any questions, fish and food. You won't regret it. All right, guys, take care.
All right, everyone, we've got roncichlids.com. It's got gift cards. So this is a great way to share the fish keeping hobby with the people that you love. Show up at shop.roncichlids.com and search for the gift cards. It makes a great gift, and it's also a great way to let your family know what you want for Christmas.
Oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Oh, Christmas tree, oh,
All right, we're back. What's going on, Ron?
Howdy.
You learn anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
So nobody called in, which is fine. So let's go ahead and just try to tackle some of these questions. I'll have you ask the questions, and I'll answer them for you, Ron. I can't see the chat.
Don't see any questions.
All right, we're done. It was nice seeing you all. Take care. Have a good weekend and happy Merry Christmas.
I'm scrolling through to see if there's any pictures. I mean, any questions.
I'm going to take a little bit of time here to talk about the fact that next week is Christmas. There's no show. The following week is New Year's, and there's no show on New Year's Day, but we're going to have Fish Talk Live. It's going to be on Wednesday. And we have a superstar guest going to show up. Mr. Joey Mullen, the king of DIY, is going to be on to talk with Ron and encourage everybody to start their own DIY projects and more. So that was pretty awesome, Ron.
Yeah, it's that should be an awesome show. Just about everybody who's gone to the internet or YouTube to try to find ways to build stuff or do stuff or paint a background or anything, Joey's got his name tied to it some way, somehow. So anybody who's been doing this for a while knows who he is. Yeah.
It's a good guy. So he's also got some things going on as well as far as some contests, and he's got an awesome book and all that. So that's going to be January 3rd. It's a Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So I'm not seeing any questions either. Does anybody have any questions, burning things they want to talk about with photography? Here's one. I wonder if shooting a live picture on iPhone, if it will come out better. Not sure. I'd have to have some clarification on that, what you mean. How do you get them to smile?
Yeah, I saw that one earlier.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd be interested in finding out, though. How do you get them to yawn? The
420 cichlids fish always smile.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking for smiling fish, then buy parrotfish. They always smile.
Yeah.
Mine looks like he's stoned all the time. All right, so is this video on the break made with Magisto? Unfortunately, no. I use Final Cut Pro by Apple. It's a professional video program. Smoke break or pee break? Well,
yes.
Not quite. Yes, all of the above. So now this is the part where Ron's going to sing some songs for you, and we're going to give away a $10,000 truck.
That's not that type of show. I don't sing. You take my shirt off.
All right. So let's go ahead and move through. If you do have a question, then we'll just come back to it. We never did hit 100. We're at 69 right now. Go ahead and share it out. Let's get 30 people on here and start giving away some fish. So Ron's on social media. Here's a couple ways you can get a hold of him. Hey, Ron, tell them about your delivery.
Last delivery of 2018. I will be heading north on Thursday this week. Going to South Carolina for a week and a half. Gonna go up there, gonna relax. I won't be shipping any fish during that time frame, but anybody who needs fish on Thursday, reach out to me. I'm making a few stops along the way. Thursday afternoon, anywhere between 3 p.m. to 9 or 10 p.m., depending where you live.
Awesome. And here's a little shout out. Hey, if you make an appointment to meet Ron somewhere, figure out how to get there and meet him.
Please be there before I'm there.
Yeah.
Usually I have the family with me. We're on a mission.
Yeah.
If you've ever made a road trip, no.
Yeah.
Want to get where you're going. You don't want to stick around for a while. So.
Hey, check this out, Ron. So this week, Clubhouse video member of the week is Cindy Smith. So, do you have that list in front of you that I sent you? You want to talk about it?
No, your screen is blocking.
Oh, you want to see it there? Okay. Go ahead.
I want to give a shout out, member of the week, video of the week, Cindy Smith. She's been on the Clubhouse for some time now, and I want to give her a little extra props because We've chatted quite a bit. We've talked. I've helped, and I've seen her mature as a fish keeper. Her tanks are getting nicer and nicer week to week. I've seen she's made some changes, and the tanks are just getting nicer and nicer. So the video of the week this week is a South American tank. Just covered it up again. There are silver dollars in there, turquoise severums. There's a ghost knife fish in there. Love knife fish. Rummy nose tetras, cories. From Central America, there's some platies in there. You've got clown loaches from Indonesia. You've got barbs, tiger barbs, all sorts of fish. Beautiful planted tank in there. I look forward to seeing her tanks when she posts them. They're really, really beautiful.
Yeah,
done a really good job.
I like Cindy a lot too. She's a great contributor with the group, and
She's a good person. Yes, sir.
yeah. So check this out. Ron gives stuff away every week on Fish Talk Live. Here is one of our winners. It's not playing, of course. Anyway, he won something, and he had something to say about it, but it is not running. But you know what that means? It's that time. All right, everybody. This is how it's going to work. All right. We got new software. If you'd like to spin the wheel today, you will start typing in one time. Okay, I'm watching the chat. I want to see if somebody preempts me. If they do, then I'm changing the hashtag. We gotta have fun somehow, right? All right.
Yeah.
So when I play this next music, okay, what's gonna happen here is you are going to put the hashtag, and it's one time, because the software knows when people are trying to jack the system, and it puts you in
On the naughty list.
on the naughty list. Yeah, exactly. Put you on the naughty list. So when I play this song, the hashtag to spin is going to be hashtag win. So do that now. Hashtag win. Hashtag win one time.
One time.
Yeah. Put that back on, Ron.
You're gonna get cold in your stuff.
Yeah, keep it on. Come on before the end of this. If you want to win something, especially something cool, type hashtag win one time. Anybody making bets right now? Is their software going to work this week?
I'm going to be positive. I'm going to put a $5 bill that says it works.
I'm going to remain positive too. When this song is over, we're done. I love seeing all those people's names. James Smith, Vince Stamboni, Brian Tripp, Chris Ebert, Greg Hayes, Cindy Smith, Isaac Garcia.
Brian, he went hashtag win one time.
Well, that would get you. Yeah, we could be playing a little crazy joke. All right, so let's come back to Santa Claus. What's going on, buddy?
Everybody says every week, Dave, what awesome music you pick, but I can't hear it until I watch the feed, the replay later.
Yeah, that's so. There's all these little timing things. You know, Ron and I are learning on how to put two people in front of a large group of people and have the timing and everything work out. Yeah, I'll have to know that Ron is in the dark, kind of. He doesn't hear any of the music. He just hears me talking, and so I'm always trying to tell him, like, look, give 1 or 2, 3 seconds on there. Yeah. So it's either you listen to me talk or you sit there and stare at Ron, one of the two. All right, so let's go to
boring.
Let's go ahead and pull up. We're gonna look at the fish of the week, and then we're gonna do that. So this is all you.
Fish of the week. Fire Hat, Red Empress, Super Red Empress, Protomelius teniolatus. Just about everybody who keeps African cichlids, peacocks, and haps knows what a Red Empress is. This species is near and dear to my heart. It's the first hap I can ever remember keeping alongside with an Azorus. This is when I got back into keeping haps and peacocks about 6 to 8 years ago. The Red Empress was the first one I went back to. So there's many strains of a Red Empress. This is ones like we're showing here in this picture have more red in them. They're called a fire hap or a super Red Empress. A regular Red Empress won't have as much red, and you'll see a little bit of green and sometimes yellow. And then you've got a strain which is pretty rare. I used to breed them. I have one left as we speak. Is a yellow belly Red Empress. Gorgeous fish. Yellow on the bottom. Beautiful species. And then you've got a Nwindi blue, or what we call fire blue. So you can replace like all of that red on their side with a blue, and then the scales will be red. Just they're a little more rare, but beautiful fish. And some of them, when they get more mature, they'll lose their stripes. When they're younger, they'll have a horizontal stripe on them. But that's our fish of the week. Beautiful fish. They get about max about 9 or 10 inches long. Semi-aggressive to mildly aggressive. If you've got one 9 or 10 inches and everybody else is half his size, he's going to be a dick. There's just not much to it. Beautiful fish, though. Absolutely beautiful. So if you use the code Empress Week 8, you get 25% off that fish. I think for 2 days. I think it's till close of business on Thursday.
Yep, 25% off Empress Week 8. That's come to shop.roncichlids.com. So let's bring us back here. Let's see. There we go. Nice hat. Love it, bro. Love it. Okay, so I'm going to mute myself for 1 second and say some things behind all your back so only Ron can hear.
The Woo Box?
Well, we are back, ready to do this. We're going to...
lost $5.
You lost 5?
Yeah, I lost $5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sitting there clicking refresh. The son of a gun ain't doing it. So anyway, this one time when I was in college... Anyway, I keep waiting for it to show up, but it doesn't show up. I got the other 2 from earlier today. Wait a minute. Well, that's not it. What else we got on here? All right, so here's how this works. All right, we are going to give away, for those people that did the hashtag win, we are going to give away something. Not sure yet. But if you want to spin the wheel to win a fish, let me show you this graphic one more time. I'm going to turn the music off, though.
What are you going to do? Third caller again?
Yeah. The third person to call in will spin the wheel to win a fish. Call in right now. So we'll let this pan out for about a minute or so. So tell me, what are you going to do for Christmas? The third person to call in right now gets to spin to win. Third person calling in gets to spin. And we added another fish to the wheel. So there used to be one grand prize on the wheel. Now there is a fish and a grand prize on the wheel. And all sorts of cool prizes, including Ron Cichlid food, including Ron Cichlid bucks on his shop, which is actually cash value. There is a gift card on there, which is actually cash value. And there is... discounts like $20 off if you order 100, which is cash value. So the third person that calls in is going to win something for sure.
Oh, sure.
For sure. So the way you do that is using a telephone. You would call these numbers here, 646-558-8665, and you put that meeting ID in there. I don't think it's going to ask you for a password because I think I turned it off.
I'll call in.
Yeah.
Can I be the third contestant?
Actually, let me just go to the website right now, Ron, and pick out which fish I want you to send me.
Merry Christmas.
All right, so hey, welcome onto Ron Sicklage. You're caller number 1. I'm going to unmute you right now. Who's this and where are you from?
Oh man, it said there was 2 other people ahead of me.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Who is this?
This is Ivan Murphy.
Ivan, so glad for you to call in. Thanks again. Sorry you missed it this time, bro.
That's okay, man. What's next time?
All right, Merry Christmas.
Thank
Merry
you
Christmas,
too.
brother.
Hey, you're caller number 2. You're caller number 2.
Unmute.
I'm unmuting you right now. Who is this? Where are you calling from?
This is Jordan Simmons. I'm from Walton, Kentucky.
Awesome, Jordan.
Good evening, Jordan.
Good evening.
You're caller number 2, so you missed it by 1, but we appreciate you calling in. What kind of tanks do you have? What kind of fish you keep?
I got 3 of them right now. I've got a Mbuna tank. I've got one that I'm still trying to decide exactly what I'm going to do with it. Got some
Nice.
tetras in there, and then I got a smaller 40. It's another cichlid in there, another South American cichlid in there. So
All right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
working
you.
on growing them.
Awesome. Well, thank you
Awesome.
so much for calling. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Maybe you'll win off the when we choose off of that hashtag. Have a good one. Take care.
Alrighty, Merry Christmas.
All right. So here's our winner. How's it going, caller? I got you unmuted. Who's this? You're the winner.
Oh, yeah. This is
Winner,
Noel.
winner, chicken dinner.
Awesome.
So who is this?
This is Noel Duarte. I'm calling from Rosemead, California.
Awesome. Awesome. What kind of fish you keep? It's Noel, right? Did I get the name
Yes,
right?
Noel.
Yeah.
Noel Duarte. Well, I keep a group of turkeys, a group of F1 red top Lawandas,
Nice.
and I keep a group of lemon jakes
nice.
and a few fry from them.
Awesome. 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 So there's 2 ways that we do this wheel. It's how long do you want the wheel to spin? Give me a number between 3 and 15.
11.
11. Okay, that's a good number. That's a really good number. And then, depending on where I start the wheel spinning, right?
Yeah.
Affects some of the random part of it. So where would you like me to start it from? Give me a number from 1 to 12 on the clock.
12.
Okay. So here we go. It's spinning now. It's spinning. Come on, big winner. Oh, you missed it by 2. You won a ½ pound of food. So congratulations, Noel. Merry Christmas. You'll probably be able to see the wheel spinning. There's a delay in it, so you won't be able to see it for about 90 seconds or so. But you were so close. You were so close. But you did win a ½ pound of food, and it's your choice whether you pick Mbuna or adult food, the juvie food, or whatnot. So,
Well, that's awesome.
yeah. Hey, Ron, you still there? So somehow we lost Ron. I kept waiting for him to come back, but that's okay. Hey, Noel, thank you so much for calling in. Merry Christmas, and reach out to Ron on his cichlid page, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
So there it is. And we got one last caller. We'll just find out who it is. Hey, caller, what's going on? Who is this? Hello? I'm going to unmute you. There we go. How's it going? You missed it by 1, unfortunately.
I know.
Who is this?
Darn it.
Who is this?
Cindy Smith.
Awesome, Cindy. We had you on there with the with your tank. It looked awesome.
I saw that. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. I won. Yay.
Yeah. We lost Ron somehow. Ron's not here, and I don't know, maybe he had a power outage or something. But anyway, hey, Merry Christmas, Cindy. We love you, and thank you so much for calling in, okay?
Merry Christmas. Appreciate you guys. It's been really fun listening and watching, and I love the videos and very informative.
Awesome.
We're learning so much from you guys.
Well, great.
Appreciate it.
We're looking forward to 2019. We'll see you on the group, okay?
Okay.
Okay, take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye. All right. So apparently you guys just have Dave. So let's wrap it up really quick. Next week, we don't have a show. So it's a Merry Christmas to everybody. And then on New Year's, we don't have a show. The next show is January 3rd. That's a Wednesday. Excuse me. I don't know what I'm talking about. January 2nd, which is a Wednesday. The king of DIY, Joey Mullen, is going to be on. He's going to share some of his experiences and strengths and expertise. He's going to help encourage you all to dive into DIY projects. So that's going to be an amazing episode. We also have some news that we are going to announce as well. That episode has got something really special, something that hasn't happened yet. You haven't seen it yet, and it is truly amazing. And I just like to leave people hanging like that. But 2019 for Fish Talk Live is a great, going to be a great year. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in. And sorry, I don't know what happened to Ron, but usually I let him say goodbye. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas. Take care.
Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Oh Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Not only green when summer's here, but also when it's cold and drear. Oh Christmas tree, thy leaves are so